Joining us in Alexandria, Virginia, New York Times bestselling author of the book You Can't Lie to Me, retired ATF investigator, world-renowned body language expert Jeannine Driver is with us. Of course, you can check her out on TikTok at Body Language Institute. And in New York City, psychotherapist, host of Talking Live on Facebook Watch and the Bite Side podcast, Dr. Robi Ludwig is with us. Great to have you both here. Have you two met? You guys know each other? Okay.
I think we do. We did a show together, a TV show.
Exactly.
I thought you did. We had a pilot.
I thought you did. So let's start here. I want to play a little bit of Sean Pickett on direct, Jeannine. And he told his story, he testified, but I want you to just watch him and tell me what you are picking up from his body language, the way he talks, what he's telling us when he's not telling us. Let's take a look.
You see her stabbing Chico, and what'd you do?
I pretty much kind of like yelled like, hey, or like what are you doing? Pretty much, or almost like something like that. Instinctively, it's just natural instinct.
Okay. And when you yelled, hey, what are you doing, then what happened?
She looked surprised, and she turned around and she came at me with the knife.
Okay, were you all the way in the room at this time?
Yes.
And was the door closed behind you?
Yes. I didn't like walk in. I opened the door and then I kind of like fast walked into the room. So almost kind of like ran in, but I didn't. Okay.
And then you ran in and she came at you with a knife, and then what happened?
We wrestled over control of the knife. And which is surprising because she was a small woman, but I was very malnourished at the same time. She was very strong. We wrestled and fought over control of the knife. And instinctively and naturally, I got a hold of it once or twice, and we were still wrestling, and I just naturally stabbed her.
All right, Jeannine, you go first.
All right. So instead of saying my mom, he says she was a strong woman. That's distancing language. You'll often hear that. Earlier when he was talking about his mother, he did say my mother, but when he's talking about the actual killing, all of a sudden comes woman. He also says things like kinda. And we heard this with the Amber Heard and the trial with Johnny Depp, when I say, when there's a like or a kinda, there's more to find us. So we have this really squishy language. Now, with regard to body language, we see some lip locking, which, by the way, even a truthful person under stress is going to have their lips disappear. I say when we don't like what we see or hear, our lips disappear. And they're pulled in. The most important thing here, Vinny and Dr. Robi Ludwig, is, in my opinion, this flaring nostril. So we see this flaring nostril, especially on the left side of the face. The camera angle really shines it on for us. And this flaring nostril is this person is aroused. This person does not like you. This is negative thought, aggression. It's disapproval. And you'll see this, like if you're in a business meeting and someone's nostrils flare, they either don't like you, your ideas, your thought, your proposal. He reminds me, Vinny and Dr. Ludwig, of the Jinx. Remember the Jinx? HBO did this special back in 2015 with Robert Durst. Because not in this clip, Vinny, but in another clip, we see Sean Pickett talking to himself. After talking about how the murder all went down, you could see him like kind of talking to himself. And we saw the same thing with Robert Durst, that real estate heir in 19...
All right. Jeannine is frozen.
And
she's
same
back?
thing.
Okay. You froze there for just a second, Jeannine. You froze there for just a second. I want to bring in Dr. Robi Ludwig. Let's talk about Sean Pickett and his mom and this relationship. And, you know, there's the old saying, like, you judge a person's character. The best way to judge a person's character is how they treat their mother. And, like, I mean, This speaks volumes about this guy. But what do you think's really going on with Sean Pickett?
Well, first of all, in telling the story, you can hear the flatness in his story. There was no emotion at all. So it sounded to me like he was just making it up. There was no emotionality, just a flatness. But what was so striking, he was describing his mother as being small, but he was malnourished. And that tells me a lot. It tells me that he felt his mother was not giving him enough, that he was somehow not in a good state as a result of his mother. And there was a lot of resentment there, and clearly a problematic relationship. So we can see that Sean had a lot of resentment built up against his mother somehow not treating him the way he felt he should be treated. And I think that's would be really fascinating to explore with this person.
When we come back, Janine Driver, Dr. Robi Ludwig staying with us. We've got more of Sean Pickett's testimony, his police interview, and some body cam footage. Don't go anywhere.
And he was pretty much trying to turn my mom against me, and I was trying to warn and protect my mom, and she did not want to believe me because Ernie was manipulating her, pretty much making her believe that I was the one on boat, that I was the one creating problems, and it wasn't him.
All right, that gets us a little bit deeper into what was going on, the dynamics in that household. There's Sean Pickett, convicted today of murdering his mom, killing the family dog, and again, pointing the finger at mom's boyfriend. He was the one stirring up all the trouble in the house, making him look like the bad guy. Dr. Robi Ludwig, want to ask you about that real quick. She's still with us along with Janine Driver. That dynamic, the boyfriend comes into their world, into their lives, and now has some of mom's attention.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like had a lot of mom's attention, and Sean felt very envious of the boyfriend, was enraged at the mother for not prioritizing him, felt abandoned, and just enraged about the whole situation. But it's interesting, when I look at him, I wonder if he had some kind of psychotic break, but the fact that he killed an animal means that there's some antisocial personality components there, sociopathy. And I also wonder if there's low intelligence, or somehow he just was not stimulated in the proper kind of way. It sounds like it was a very disturbed household, and he is a reflection of everything that went on. And it sounds like there was a lot of stressors, poverty, no father in the home, and who knows what went on between the mother and son before the boyfriend even entered. So it just leaves me with more questions than answers, quite frankly.
Janine Driver, I'm going to show you some more testimony from Sean Pickett, but I also want to keep in the back of your mind that he also testified that his mom used to rape Chico the dog. Testified to that in court. Here he is now talking about mom kneeling over and killing Chico. Let's take a look.
When you went in and saw your mom standing over Chico, did you see her actively stabbing him at that time?
Yes, she was stabbing him. She was kind of kneeling over. She wasn't standing, she was kneeling over, stabbing him, yes.
So she was on her knees. Was she on her right knee, her left knee, both knees?
Maybe both, maybe one, I'm not sure.
Not sure. Was Chico bleeding at the time?
I don't know. There was blood there already, so.
There was blood there already?
Yes.
And at that point, you could have left the room and called 911 then?
Probably not. No. Because I came into the room. She came at me with a knife. If I went towards the door, she would have stabbed me, and I wouldn't be alive here in court now.
All right, Janine, what'd you think of his story there?
Okay, Vinny, there's two things in particular here. One, we're missing the illustrators. The illustrators help us tell a story. I'm climbing a ladder, I'm going fishing. So instead of him putting us into the story and saying, I came in and my mom was, leaning over. So we're not being put into the story. Now, some people may not do that. We don't know Sean Pickett's baseline because we're not his friends and have known him for years. The other thing that's very suspicious to me, for both you and Robbie and you watching at home, is this one-sided shrug we see on the right side of his body. So a shoulder shrug, Vinny, means uncertainty. What do you want for lunch? A salad, a BLT? I don't know. Robbie, what do you want? That means uncertainty. When we have a one-sided shrug and the person is saying they're not sure if the mother was stabbing them, but there was blood there, and they say they're not sure and they do a one-sided shrug, that cancels out the uncertainty. So it's telling us there's something he's certain about, but he's lying to us here. He's withholding this information. So if someone says, I don't know if I'd like to go out again, oh, they know. They're not going out with you again.
Okay. Dr. Robi Ludwig, here's the police interview, Sean Pickett, and he's talking about losing his mind. Let's listen. He's obviously troubled, but what are you seeing there?
You know, it's hard for me to know whether he had a psychotic break or was doing drugs. We just don't know. But the common theme was he demonizes his mother. His mother was playing mind games. There was rape going on in the house. He was malnourished. So he sees his mother in this very evil way where she deliberately was trying to harm him. I believe that's how he experienced her. Clearly, the healthy person would find a way to not handle things in a violent way. But it sounds like this was a very disturbed household, and we just don't understand the entire story. And that Sean is a symptom of a lot of things that went wrong in that house.
All right, we're going to run out of time, but Gene, let me show you some body cam now. Do we have it? Yep.
All right, here too? Okay. I didn't think he came back. So, Tom, what does it look like there? Really? Well, how did Ernie stab himself? Okay, you're not under arrest, John. I'm just having you in protective custody, okay? So I can check the house. So, you have anything in your pockets at all that's going to help me? All right, let's go back here to my squad for a minute. Set up and sex the other round. This threatened us before. Ernie has?
All right, we only have about 25 seconds, Gene. You seeing anything there?
Yeah, Dr. Robi Ludwig talked about this earlier, the lack of affect here. There's no emotion, and this reminds me very similar of Chris Watts. When Chris Watts started doing all these interviews, his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters, Celeste and Bella, are missing, and there was no affect. So we're not seeing this fear, we're not seeing sadness, we're not seeing any body movement that's indicating this guy is super stressed. His mother is dead in a pile of blood. I've seen the footage. It is horrifying, and his dog, and it was at his hands, Sean Pickett, and yet he has no affect here.
Janine Driver, Dr. Robi Ludwig, things went well tonight. Maybe we turn this into a show. We did a pilot once, we do it again. Thanks so much.
I love Robbie.
We'll see you again real soon.
I love you too,
And I love you, Minnie. Bye, everybody.
We love you.
All right, we'll be right back.